Hey, get on City Geeks. We're back, and me and Nasser got an awesome guest today. Are you ready, Nasser?
Yeah, I got some. I'm still one episode behind, but as long so other than that, I'm ready.
Oh, dude, this is gonna be fun, man.
Yeah.
We get to talk to the showrunner for Revival.
Yeah.
Um, and before we get there, let's give a quick shout out to our friends at Dragons of Alamo Ranch. Hey guys, if you want to play Pokemon Magic or Warhammer, this is where you want to go. If you want to talk comics, come talk to us. Of course, and then they're going to be doing a release as well for the upcoming Magic next week. So if you're wanting to play, sign up. But also, we want to give Nasser his shout out. Go ahead, Mr. Nasser.
Yeah, thank you so much again, man. So yeah, we've got Comic Arts San Antonio coming up November 15th, later this year. So just a few short months away. And if you're not familiar with our show, this is our fourth year, and we're dedicated to being a comics only show. So nothing but comic book writers, comic book artists, local comic shops selling back issues and new comics, stuff like that. So definitely check us out. Check out the website there, comicarts-sa.com, to see the full guest list, see the whole exhibitor list of indie creators putting out their own comics, and hopefully people can come out, get some stuff signed, and then find your new favorite creator.
Sweet. All right, guys, we're going to bring him in and give a big shout out to Luke Boyce. Welcome,
What's
sir.
going on, Luke?
Thanks, guys. So glad to be here. Super excited.
Dude, you're telling me. So, start off, of course, this is Countdown City Geeks. Everybody has a geek side, from horror to sci-fi. What was it that hooked you to get you in a direction of becoming a showrunner? What was the show or movie that really got you?
Man, how much time you got? I mean, honestly, so my first love is directing. When we got Revival, the intent was to make it a feature film that I was going to direct, and we worked on that for a very long time, and it just kind of became a situation where we, through drafts of scripts and through different versions of developments and things like that, we were like, something's missing here. I feel like TV is where this needs to go. It's where we can do the best here. So that I kind of moved into the TV space that way. I never really intended to be a showrunner necessarily. So that, but that being said, I mean, obviously, TV and film, I've been obsessed with since I was a kid. I mean, I'm a huge cinephile. Have been my whole life. It's the first thing I ever wanted to do was be in film. Whether I think the first thing I wanted to do was be an animator, and then it quickly became a director pretty early on in my life. I'm the kid that made movies with my family's video camera. With movies with my friends, stop motion animation, all kinds of stuff. So I mean, it started from a very very early age.
So I'm guessing we're about all around the same age. So I'm guessing we're some of those early things where, George Lucas and Spielberg movies, and that's the stuff that really grabbed you.
Spielberg especially. I mean, I remember. Well, I can tell you the first time I knew I wanted to be a director was I got a book, this kid's biography of Steven Spielberg when I was in elementary school, and didn't really know what that meant until I read the book and just read about how he used to make films with his toys, train sets, and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I do that, and then that sort of led to everything. So yeah, it was actually Spielberg was really kind of my first, the first person that showed me, oh, this is a person that makes movies. He's behind the camera. And yeah, of course I grew up in the 80s, so it's Spielberg all the way.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a thing. And go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say, you mentioned wanting to be an animator, Luke. So were you an artist as a kid?
I was. My dad. Okay. So my dad was a really interesting person. He was a sign painter and a graphic artist, and a painter. He was a ventriloquist. He was a magician.
Oh, wow.
Just like, yeah, I grew up in a super creative household. Any way he could just to like create. And so, from an early age, that was big in our family. And so art is kind of the first thing I remember doing. I mean, it was like very, very early. And I remember taking like college art classes when I was, I think, maybe like 9 or 10.
Whoa.
Wow.
So yeah, so I very early on, but I also quickly realized like drawing 24 images a second, a nightmare. I was like, I have ADHD. I'm never
Yeah.
to commit to this, so maybe I'll just do film.
Yeah.
Wow. So if comic wise, now we're gonna get into the
Yeah.
comic site. What was it when you started reading comics? Like, what age were you reading comics?
I mean, that's it, right? Like, so as a loving art as a kid, I mean, my art was Superman, Batman. I mean, I was a DC kid for sure because I grew up in the I think 3 years old I got all the superpowers toys. I had the full.
Those
yeah.
are the best.
Yeah, man. Oh my god, I have a video. I got them all for my daughter when she was 3, and I have a video of me playing with them for Christmas and her playing at the same age. It was crazy, but it was just like,
Wow.
yeah, that right there was my entry, and then I kind of got really big into comics in the Death of Superman era, right? So it was like that the run on Robin, the Tim Drake Robin, that first run was like
Robin 2, right?
Yeah, Robin 2. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It was that and yeah, Death of Superman, and just kind of around those times where I just started to collect comics like on a weekly basis, and just fell in love. So, and then my dad, I always, used to read my dad's comics growing up. He had tons, and he had a lot of like horror comics and, from the 70s, the 60s and the 70s. And I loved looking through those. Every time I'd go to my grandma's house, I would just like dig. Like, I remember when one time I discovered like this secret attic in my grandma's house. My dad grew up. It was like behind a dresser. And we couldn't get in there right away, but I just remember thinking, oh my God, what if there's like boxes of these incredible, amazing comics and valuable comics, and it's going to be a cornucopia of. And then we got into it, and it was like, I think it was like weird old toys. It was awful. I did find an original. He had an original copy of Jaws in there though, so that was
nice.
I remember taking that. No comics though. My grandma threw all my dad's comics out, which is awful. I have a few of them that he left.
Yeah. Well, so your dad was super supportive of comics and art and all that. Was your mom also on board with that, or?
Oh yeah. My mom was always. I mean, my mom's always been. I had the best parents in the world. Yeah. I did. They both were just super, super supportive. My mom is not, not on the creative side, but she's also, she's one of the most amazing people I know, and she was always. I mean, no matter what we did, she was always supportive of everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I had great parents. I had a great childhood. I grew up in like a super, super tiny town in the middle of Illinois. We had 800 people in our town.
Wow.
It was like there was nothing to do. I got my comics from the local hardware store or the grocery store, and that was it. It was like comics and TV and then just playing on whatever farm or bridge that you shouldn't be playing on.
Yeah.
Surprised a lot of us didn't just die because we were, whatever you could do to entertain yourself.
So did you have friends who were also into comics at the time, or was it just you reading by yourself?
I had one friend who he was into Marvel, I was into DC. Okay. And actually it's so funny because he's one of my oldest friends in the world. And he is who we named McCrae, Deputy McCrae in the show is named after my friend, my buddy Michael that I grew up with.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We both got into comics around the same time. Used to trade, kind of tell each other stuff about what was happening in the respective universes. So fight about Marvel versus DC.
Yeah, that's always cool when you have a friend and you can buy some stuff, they buy some stuff. And then you've just doubled your reading when you trade with them.
Yep. I mean, that's part of the fun. Yeah.
So getting into the next level there, when did you first pick up the first issue of Revival?
I think so. I'm pretty sure the first issue I got the trades. So I
Okay.
think I was about, I think that series was roughly just under 2 years in. So I didn't
Okay.
get it right when it came out. I think it was like 2014, 2015, somewhere around there. And I remember catching up on in the trade. So I think I got the first couple of trades, and just
Which is
thinking it
better?
was, yeah. I mean, well, I was already like Image at the time. I mean, that era of Image, still. I mean, oh my God, like there
Yeah,
was,
so we were talking about with Mike. I mean, during that time, it was Revival and Chew and Walking Dead and like
oh,
so
it was
much stuff.
Saga and Sex Criminals and Wicked and Divine, and I'm
Mhm.
trying to think what all, what all. I actually, I had originally tried to option. I'm blanking on the name. Ada, is it Ada and Alex?
Oh, the Luna Brothers, right?
Is that it? Yeah,
Is
Alex.
that it?
uh,
Hmm.
it was just like a kind of a, at the time we talked it out. They had already optioned the book, but
Oh,
you know, I knew the kind of Image was creator on, so I was like, look, I'm just I'm gonna shoot my shot here, and see. But I mean, there was just like so much good, like everything Image was putting out at that time was
yep.
like, oh my God, to the point where like I kind of stopped reading superhero comics around that time because it just wasn't. And I kind of go back and forth. I'm a massive Superman is my guy. I've been a devoted Superman fan since I was a kid. That's my thing. So was super
Nice.
excited for the movie to come out. But
Man,
even
Revival on TV, Superman in theaters. Everything's
man,
coming up
I was
Luke
like,
right now.
I know, right? I was like, this is fate. It's got to be. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I kind of was just so into all the Image stuff, and but I'd been developing an original script called Redeemers that was kind of, I don't want to say it was the same, but it was like, it was about this. It was a small town, kind of similar to what I grew up in, small town in the Midwest. You know, I grew up in the cornfields of Illinois, and there was a sort of this all these people had kind of come back to life. I can't quite remember the full thing because it didn't get very far, but I remember reading Revival and thinking, well, shit, this is a much better version of what I was doing. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I just won't do this. And it just sort of, but it immediately was like, it was so perfect to me. It was one of those things where I just knew it so well because it was the small town, Midwest role noir thing. And I was like, man, this is the kind of thing, like if I was going to make something, this is what I would make. Like
Yeah.
this is my vibe. This is my style. And I just fell in love with it. And I had, I didn't actually ever think that I would do it. And that's a whole other story, there. But yeah, I just fell in love with it right away. I remember gifting the book to my wife and my brothers for Christmas that year. So
Wow.
So during this time, were you continuously reading comics, or did this kind of Image boom bring you back in?
I had come, so I had kind of left comics for a while when was it? Yeah, like in high school. I kind of stopped reading comics for a bit. And then a little bit into college, I believe, I kind of rediscovered it. I was a little after college. When did New Frontier come out?
The Darwin Cook one?
Yeah.
Oh
Let's
shoot, that was
see.
like in
It was like 2000, it was
fif-
early 2000s maybe.
yeah, I
Or maybe.
remember.
That was that got me back in. I remember going back and ordering a couple. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna catch up on some stuff. So I was like ordering some trades and stuff, and I remember picking up,
2004 looks like.
yeah,
Wow.
2004.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
that, in fact, that was the year. I remember I've consistently had a weekly subscription to comics since 2004.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
Wow.
Still to this day. So yeah, and it was New Frontier that did it for me. I was just like, oh my God. I mean, to this day, like that's, if I, my dream project to ever do, like a live action whatever, is New Frontier.
Yeah.
Uh, It's just a masterpiece to me.
Yeah, I love Darwin, man.
Oh
Oh,
my
yeah.
god, yeah.
Yeah.
God rest his soul, yeah, for sure.
So for Tim, so you picked up the graphic novel, you started reading, it, you got hooked, which was cool because at that time, if you were a regular comic reader, of course, you had to wait month to month to
Yeah.
find out what's going on. Graphic novel is a great place to jump on. You get to read the whole thing and not have to wait.
Yep.
So when you got hooked and you knew who the creators were, so when was it that you actually met the two of them, or was it together, or one of each individually apart, or?
Yeah, so funny. Okay, so funny enough, I remember I went to like my first con was in 2015,
Oh wow!
and it was D2E2, and I remember walking by Tim's booth and being like, I knew that he was, the revival guy, and that he was a Chicago native, and I was like, I'm gonna talk to him, and I didn't. I got nervous, I got scared, and I went away. I was like, what am I doing? I mean, want to talk to me. So then the next year, so it's 2016, a year later, and I'm just like, I'm on a mission that year. I'm like, I'm gonna talk to somebody. I really wanted to develop something with a comic writer. And so I had a couple names that I was like, I'm going to talk to a couple guys. And I did. I talked to a couple people there, but I went to Tim and I was like, hey, man, listen, I've got this production company. We make indie stuff in Illinois. We're in Chicago. We make a lot of stuff. We've done this. At the time, my company was co-producing a film called Slice that was starring Chance the Rapper. And so it was kind of like it was like a big thing. It was like A24 was the studio.
Wow.
And, so I kind of had a little bit more confidence, to sort of say, hey, I'm not some, yokel from nowhere. Like, we're actually doing stuff. And so I was like, you wanna talk sometime about just like, maybe working on something together, writing something. I definitely wasn't asking him about Revival. And he's like, yeah, man, he like gave me his email, and he's like, yeah, hit me up. I was like, oh, okay, cool, super nice. I hadn't met Mike yet, and so I did. I emailed Tim, and literally he emailed me like, I think maybe it was either the same day or the next day, and he's like, yeah, we should go get drinks at this place in Chicago. I was like, dude, name it, I'm there.
Yeah.
So we did.
Wow.
And we had a couple meetings where like I was kind of explaining what we did, and I think it was by like the second, like we had a great first time, or maybe it was the first one. Like we hung out for maybe 3 or 4 hours that night, and
Wow.
he's like, Revival, we do have Revival if you want to do that, and I was like, wait a minute. I like acted cool at the moment. I was like, oh yeah, I'm a big fan of Revival, and inside I'm like losing my shit. I remember leaving. I remember leaving that night and just like dreaming all the way home. Like, what does this mean? Like, is this even possible? And it wasn't like we didn't get it right away. We had to, meet Mike, and there's managers involved, and so we had to create proof of concept, and we had to court it for a while. I think we courted them for maybe 6 months or so, just saying, here's what we would do. Listen, I mean, we're not, it was a big deal for them to basically option this to us, and we didn't have a ton of money to do it either. But
at that point, you're selling them on a movie of it, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we kind of were like, let's make it a movie, because that's what we. So my company's Shatterglass Films, and we'd actually just recently. I have a producing partner that I've worked with since. We've been together for 15 years.
Wow.
And we both are big comic fans. And he was an artist. He went to fine art school, and is an amazing penciler. So he was super into comics too. We always said like it would be our dream to make comic IP stuff in the film space. So that was our thing. So, and he was with me. He came with me to meet with Tim and to talk to Tim. And yeah, we just were like, oh my God, this is insane. So we were like, listen, we can produce movies. This is what we do. We make small independent films in Illinois. And Tim was Tim was basically very done with Hollywood. He had. I wish people knew. Are you guys Hack Slash fans at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring that up a little bit later, but yes.
Yeah, I know he's mentioned that about how he sold that when he was young and kind of like, that's it. He's never going to get it back.
I think his biggest regret in the world. And we've had conversations about Hack Slash for, years and years and years now. But was young, was excited, didn't include a reversion clause in that. And so the rights got taken and it's just lived in development hell. And he has tried forever to get that back, to get that into something, and it's just in corporate studio hell essentially. And so I don't know how much I can say there, but that was a big thing for him. He was done. And actually, to be honest, Revival had been at NBC right before this for a little bit. It had actually, if you recall that, what was the ABC show, Resurrection? Or
yeah, I think so.
Like, it was like a version of The Returned at the time,
Mm-hmm.
which surprisingly came out the same year the Revival came out. And because of that, like, it had not done well at ABC, and so I think NBC got freaked out a little bit about it and sort of just dropped it. They didn't really pursue it very, very long. So Tim got the rights back pretty quickly there because it just didn't go far enough. And so yeah, he had the rights back, and we started talking about taking it, and I was like, listen, I mean, I'm not Hollywood, obviously, but I will dedicate my life to getting this made. Like, I will, like, every waking minute. I mean, the opportunity for me to make an IP like Revival, like, that doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So, like, I was just like, trust me, and you don't. I mean, had no reason to trust me. But we got along so well and became close friends, and then we talked to Mike and got Mike on board, and and the rest is history. Yeah. And then a long development process happened after that with many ups and downs. So yeah.
He could tell that you were a good Midwestern boy, Luke. That's all.
You know what? It is. It's true. Midwesterners, we kind of know each other and we stick together. Yeah. I think that's true.
Well, your production company, for doing it and sticking it out, has put it on a great path currently, because
thank you.
Me as a fan reading the comic when it first came out and seeing, for me, we talked about it with Mike, and I'm going to bring it up. I mean, the opening scene, I mean, it is like literally looking at the comic and my mind was blown. I was like, this is freaking awesome. Down, like I mentioned to Mike, down to the mustache. I mean,
yeah.
And the thing, I don't, and we talked about it, that fans who have passion on the project they're working on, you could see it come out. And that's what we talked about, that you and Aaron bringing this to life and bringing it onto TV. And Mike even mentioned about how y'all even did the freckles on the faces, down to that. I mean, I can't wait to see where we're going to go, but you're doing a great job so far. That's all I got to say.
Oh, thank you. I just want to make sure, just so I don't say anything, how far are you guys into the show?
I'm caught up.
I haven't seen the last episode.
With at 6, episode 6?
Yeah, 6. Okay. I haven't seen 6.
But Ray, you've seen episode 6.
Yes.
Okay, I'll keep all my.
And I just know apparently like shit goes down in episode 6. So.
Episode 6 is it's a game changer.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, let me ask you, Luke. So, like, what exactly is the job of showrunner? Are you making the call to say, like, hey, I want this to be faithful to the comic, or who does that, I guess?
Yeah, so that's interesting. So originally, I mean, my whole thing, especially with Tim and Mike, one of the things that we said to them to get them to trust us is we're like, listen, we want you guys involved. Like, we want to know, like Hollywood, especially at this time, Hollywood will come in, they'll buy the option for a property, for an image book, and every image book gets bought up, right? Mm-hmm. That was one of the miracles of Revival being available was that alone. But they pay a lot of money, and then it not only sits in development hell, but they're not interested in the creators' opinions, right? They hire a showrunner, they hire a writer, they hire whoever they need to hire to write a script, and then it's just whatever they want to do with it. And so we were like, listen, the benefit of going with nobodies like us is that we want to be as faithful as we can. Like let's do it. And they both Mike and Tim knew, like, obviously the mediums are very different. You know what I mean? Like comics have a very different time framing. Like the way that you frame time in a comic is very different than the way you frame time in a TV show, which is very different than the way you frame time in a movie. I mean, mediums sort of have these real specific constraints. And so, like, we knew, I remember, like, the very first draft of the feature was Tim's draft. Tim did a draft. I remember having a conversation with Tim and Mike. We did like a creative power, like, okay, what does this look like on the feature side? And we started working out, who would be in it and who we can't afford to be in it and everything like that. And so, just that alone, we knew we wanted to honor the comic. Over time, like through multiple drafts of the script, and we had multiple writers and we had all the stuff, and you start to sort of be able to pick out what's working and what's not working. You're like, okay, I love this in the book, but it's just not working in that case, it was the movie. I remember our all of our film versions, for instance, there was no Ibrahim. We didn't have Ibrahim in there at all.
Really?
And interestingly enough, we had Derek, but we do not have Derek in the show. I mean, Derek.
Yeah.
I was going to bring that up too, but yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Derek, we're holding. There is a Derek. He exists, but we haven't introduced him yet. Our version of Derek. So the adaptation process is just so fascinating, and the benefit of it was hard because we were like always running up against time with this. It was like, okay, well, how long are we going to go before Tim and Mike are like, screw this? So things would start to happen and then it would fall apart, and it would start to happen and then it would fall apart.
Wow. And
like, God bless them for having the patience they did, but it allowed us to figure out what are the things that are working, what are the things that are not working. And then I would go to like cons all the time with Tim and just hear from the fans and be like, okay, what do you like about it? What don't you like about it? I mean, reading reactions to Revival, years after Revival ended is kind of nice market research, like just seeing, okay, what do fans dig? What do they not dig about this? And it's such a robust comic. There's just so much to mine from it. I mean, even a show when I went from a movie to a TV show, I thought, oh my God, great, we can do everything we want. And you quickly realize, no, you have limitations, quite a bit of limitations. Just, they're different limitations than a feature, but there's still plenty of limitations. So, but we knew. I remember when I eventually when I gave the comic to Aaron, when we started talking about it, and Aaron had not read the comic. I think he was vaguely familiar with it, but he really hadn't read it. We immediately said, this first issue, which this isn't always the case, but this first issue is a pilot. Like, this is a pilot. The way it's structured, the way it ends, like, no matter what we do with this show, the first episode has to be this first issue. And even I remember Tim and Mike, like, Tim has always said that first issue of Revival is just one of the greatest things he's ever done. And it really is. It's just pitch perfect. It's just so good. I mean, that first issue is ridiculous. So, we knew it, a lot of our adaptation process was going, what are the elements that are the most important to us? And I sort of was on the side, because I had been such a fan of the comic for so long and had been developing so long, I would sort of sit on the side of the adaptation that said, okay, this feels like we're veering from Revival. This feels like Revival. Like, I would my job was to sort of keep the spirit of Revival alive. And Aaron's job was sort of to say, okay, but instead of going left, what if here we went right? Like, what if, like, this person is great, we can do them, but what if this person is just a little, like, what if we do a little bit more to this person or whatever, or this situation? And that kind of was it was a cool yin and yang experience for adaptation, that we could both come from such interesting perspectives and be able to mesh, that both the love of the comic, which I desperately have, and then and don't get me wrong, Aaron does as well, but Aaron has more of a, like his goal is to build organic, compelling story. I mean, that's all of our goals, but that was he's like, I'm not going to be beholden to it. I want to see how does the TV become its own thing? How does it, because the other thing too is you want fans to also be able to have something, it's fun to see things come to life. Like the first episode is fun in the sense that like you really get to see it jump off the page, but there's enough differences that you're like, oh, okay, that's interesting how they got there. And that's kind of what we wanted to do with the series.
Yeah, that's the push and pull I always find with myself. Like, I want you to just take the book and put it on screen, but at the same time, I don't want to know everything that's coming. So
yeah, this is like the world we live in as comic fans, right? You're like you watch everything, but it's so funny because like it's so subjective. Like there's even like, look, I loved Superman, but as a Superman fan, there's still I'm just like, I still haven't gotten the perfect Superman, but that's my perfect Superman, right? That's not necessarily your perfect Superman. So it's like that adaptation says I have to do things, whatever the creative does, that whatever they feel is their prerogative to do, because you can't please everybody. It is so subjective. So, yeah.
So the question I was going to ask, because Nasser brought it up with Mike. So Mike's in the cemetery.
Yeah.
Whose idea was to do that, to do that, incorporate
Oh
that?
man, well, I mean the fun thing about this, right, is so that you always have these Easter eggs all over the place. Yeah. And we tried to do that. I mean, we have so many Tim Easter eggs. But you know what? Honestly, I'll tell you the truth about this. People don't understand clearances. As an independent film, you don't worry about clearance that much. I mean, you still have to do clearances, but it's not that big of a deal. TV, totally different story. And our clearance department was awful. Like, we couldn't do anything. So what you'll end up doing is names and things like that and shows become the names of your crew and the names of your family and the names of, you know what I mean? Because you're like, I know them, they're not going to sue me. they're my family, or they're paid people.
Yeah.
So right away, like, part of that was like, okay, well, we've got to have these fake gravestones. So put Mike in there.
Yeah.
Actually, nobody has mentioned the first name you see in the show when you were seeing the crematorium. That gravestone says Joe Myers, who, if you recall, is actually one of the big characters in the. It's side characters, but in the comic, he's the one that he's like looking for the ring.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. I missed that. Dang.
Yeah.
So, working, because you got to work with Tim first before on the film that you and him worked on as well.
Yeah.
I feel Tim has a unique way of telling stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what helps him a lot. And teaming up with him on that movie that you two worked on, how was it because of course you guys went out, had some drinks. How was the creativity in the room when you guys were pitching this, like, hey, let's do this, let's do that? How did it go back and forth for that? And then of course from there we transitioned to here, but how did that go?
Okay, so Revealer is fun in the sense that, like, so Tim and I have been working together forever. COVID happens, so COVID hits, and Tim and I are talking. We're like, okay, what's going to go on with Revival? I don't know. This sucks. But we were at the time, there was like this. Well, let me start here. Comic writers are amazing writers in the sense that they have to come up with ideas super quickly within a ton of parameters. So Tim might get called to write Nightwing, for instance, and DC is going to say, hey, we want you to write Nightwing, but just so you know, you can't do this and you can't do that because this just happened in the past two things. And by the way, this, and this. And a lot of times, and then, that's on top of them having to then go back and, read the few issues before that, get a sense of what are the boxes that I'm working in. So comic writers are really, really, really good at working in these really small boxes, right? Of like making cool story with with these strong parameters. And so I was like, man, that's a cool trait for pitching film, right? Like, so Tim and I started going to production companies and studios and being like, listen, you tell us what you want. What do you want? Like, what do you need? Well, you tell us what the parameters are. We need a haunted house movie that features this and a this and a this. And they're like, we'll do it. And so, we're like, okay, let's just try this. We were doing that at the time, and then COVID hits. And so my producers are like, okay, let's put this to the test. Can you guys, we might be able to make this, like, make a movie in secret during lockdown. Nobody was doing it. But my producing partner was in the DGA. He was looking at all the different things, and nobody wanted to sit in their butt. So they're like, can you make a movie where there are basically no more than like 3 characters, 2 if ideally, and they never talk. They never actually interact with each other face to face. Like they literally don't, so we can basically film it. Now it changed a little bit, but Tim and I are talking, and I'm like, okay, here's the parameters. Here's what we do. Literally, I get a call 3-4 hours later, and he's like, what about this? He's like, she's a stripper in the 80s, and she's in her peep show booth, and she gets stuck in the peep show booth, and because the apocalypse is literally happening outside. And Tim and I,
right.
Yeah, Tim and I are always like interested in the rapture. We'd actually talked about story before that because we both grew up, in the Satanic Panic era. So we're just like, what if? We always had this thing. It was like, what if all the Satanic Panic people were right? Like, what if they were actually definitely had on to something? And so that was kind of our thing. It's like, what if they're right? What if like the rapture happens and now like all these people are being like sucked into the sky and like the sky turns red and all this awful shit is happening but we have 2 people and they're both stuck in a peep show booth, and the other person is the religious zealot that has been protesting outside of the strip club every day forever, and now they're both stuck in peep show booths together. I was like, dude, this is amazing. So we pitched and like, write us a script, and we did in 8 days. We wrote the script like quick. And it had to be because, funny enough, do you guys know the movie Glorious? Do you remember that movie?
I think so.
With J.K. Simmons. Anyway, it's another crazy sort of, stuck in. It's a movie about a guy stuck in it all takes place in a bathroom stall. But the producers we were pitching to were like, yeah, that's interesting. We've got this other movie that we're looking at, and they didn't end up doing it. They ended up doing Revealer instead. But the movie they were looking at was similar. Was Glorious. So we did it, and what we did was a lot of investors into the revival at the time, and we were still trying to make the movie, moved their investment into Revealer because it was a much, much smaller budget. And so we were able to make Revealer super quick. We shot it 12 days in like August of 2020, like right in the heart. It was amazing because where I lived, we basically got this free warehouse that was so big. We were able to build all of the sets in there. All the crew, like we reduced the crew, and they all had these like really far, like everyone had their own spots that they had to be in, and like 10 feet apart. And then we got like this hotel gave us a whole floor for like next to nothing so that we could bubble. So the whole crew for 12, 13 days of shooting plus prep were either in a hotel room or we were on set together. And because we were like, it was still early COVID days, like we had to have runners, like nobody was allowed to go outside of the bubble. It was all bubble. And it was super intense, but it was like amazing. It was like this, we called it summer camp. You know what I mean? Like we were all having fun, and it was amazing. It was so good. And so regardless of the movie kind of coming out, it was just a really cool experience. Tim and I got to work on the script with my other comic buddy Michael Marisi, who that was the first time we had kind of worked together. Tim brought him on; they were close, and then Mike and I got close, and then I brought Mike on to help write the pilot for Revival. So I almost said Revealer because there's REV movies. So many times I get Revealer and Revival mixed up all the time. So
Yeah, so I'm gonna pull up a poster for that so we can see.
yeah,
And this is available that people can watch on AMC, Tubi, and Prime Video. So if you haven't watched it, go check it out. It is a very unique movie, and that's why I said it's a good horror-ish movie. Because like you mentioned, growing up in that time frame, I grew up in that time frame, and my mom and my grandparents had that, you know, that same time mentality. So
D&D is evil.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I literally do. We just interviewed Michael Whitworth about D&D and about that satanic panic thing. And to this day, my mom still says the D&D book is the devil's book. And
are you familiar with there's a book called Toys in the Attic? Are you familiar with this book?
Yeah, I heard about that book, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so my mom had so I grew up in a super evangelical household, and I remember growing up I remember falling asleep with my He-Man toy when I was like 5 maybe, and when I woke up, all my He-Man toys were gone. My mom had thrown them in the trash because she had read this book. It was a book. It was like being promoted by Focus on the Family, that basically all of these toys, Star Wars, He-Man, Dungeons and Dragons is in there, Barbie. Basically, they would go through every major toy franchise at the time and basically say how they are gateways to the devil. Basically saying all these toys, all these franchises that your kids are watching on Saturday morning and then playing with, these are all to basically turn them into Satanists. And yeah, and my parents and my mom, I will not let her live this down. It's hilarious. She's far different now, but yeah, she bought into it, and I had like so many. I didn't get to have He-Man growing up, which
as someone who's been Oh, I'm sorry, Luke. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Yeah,
I was just saying, as someone who's been rebuying all his vintage Masters of the Universe, let her know how much some of those are now.
I know. I've thought about it. I've thought about it so many times. Yeah. So.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah, I lived it, man. It affected me big time.
Okay, well, so it affected you big time, but you're a horror fan too. How did
so? You can't keep it away.
Yeah. So at what age were you able to watch horror? So if that's the case, at what age were you able to watch your first horror film without your mom know? Well, I guess because we've all did it. We weren't supposed to watch horror, but
you're over at a friend's house, or like something like some kid at school shows you something.
So when was your first horror film?
My first horror film? I mean, honestly, the one I remember affecting me the most is technically the Thriller video, right? I remember my dad. So the funny thing about this is my dad, being super creative, he also was just like, he loved Halloween, and he got so excited. And I remember, so where I live now, I grew up about an hour away from where I live now. I live in a bigger city, but there was where I live, there was this huge magic makeup costume store. It was crazy, called Dallas and Company. And the guy that owned it was this professional magician, and that's what got my dad into magic, because we had this cool resource. But he had just massive. I mean, it was, for a small town, it was crazy. I mean, a lot of his stuff came from like renting, those like costumes for birthday parties and stuff like that. But he had so much makeup and stuff. And I remember my dad would like dabble in like latex, and I mean, I think like if he loved all that stuff. So he would always watch behind the scenes, like anytime there was something on TV that was behind the scenes or whatever. And I actually remember watching the thriller behind the scenes first before the video.
Oh.
And you know, and it's like, it's freaking amazing makeup, and it's John Landis, and it's, you know, it's just like all this, and you know, like watching it with my dad, and I'm just like, you know, this is incredible. And so that, I think, is the first thing that really affected me. And then after that, because I was, you know, because we were kind of a Christian household, I didn't get to watch a lot of stuff, obviously, but like I was really into old movies. And so like the original Dracula, the original King Kong, Godzilla, like I would watch a lot of that stuff at a young age because it was on TV, and I just found it fascinating. Like I loved Ray Harryhausen just as you know, just from an animation standpoint. It was that kind of stuff that really kind of did it for me. And then eventually, I think, like I remember, you know, you get to that age, like maybe 13 or so, where then you're like watching. I remember going to my friend's house, and we like literally stayed up all night watching the Friday the 13th marathon. And I think like the Job marathon or something. I forget what year that was. Yeah, stuff like that. You know, anything I could catch on TV. And then of course, you know, my earliest memories are just, you know, just staring at the VHS covers. Like the amount of horror movies that I only for years knew from their cover, you know, just like staring at them at the video store and not being able to get them. Like that's one of my most formative memories. So
Dang, that's crazy.
The video store, man. That's an experience we're missing, dude.
Seriously. Well, and just like, you know, just just those covers, a lot of which just had nothing to do with the movie, but they, you know, they a lot of those horror movies, they had to sell it on the cover or the poster, for that matter. So they made the poster first in a lot of situations.
Or talking to like the employee who was like really into movies and would like recommend some like no name title to you, you know, that kind of stuff, instead of just scrolling through the queue now.
I miss it, man. I miss it. Yeah.
So getting back to the revival, talking about the covers, I'm gonna bring up cover of revival number 1. Dude, where did you find a sweater, or did you actually have that sweater made for the show?
No, somehow my costume, our costume designer Judith Clancy, it was amazing. This poor woman, God bless her, she found it. I don't know how she found it, because we filmed.
Wow.
We filmed in a place called St. John, New Brunswick, and St. John has not had a film industry since the 90s. Okay. So we did it because they basically offered us a huge rebate. This is in Canada, so we're a Canadian production, so we had to go for the money. If people truly knew the budget that this show is, they would lose their mind. It's nothing. I'm telling you, it's nothing.
Oh, wow.
And because we were in this place, we just had no resources, and there wasn't anything. Like my poor costume designer was thrifting everywhere she could possibly find, and I don't know how she did it, but she found a sweater, and it worked, and it looked great. I mean, it was, and then we were like, okay, yeah. I mean, she has to be wearing the sweater. So still to this day, I don't know how in the world that happened, but I'm so happy that it did. Yeah,
dude. Okay, for it, like you said, budget wise, the scene. I don't know to make sure it's the right one.
Yeah,
dude, this scene. All right, it's this one right here. That when I saw that, and I was just like, oh, dude, I was just like, this is so awesome. Because in the comic, you see it and you're reading it, it's different. It's just a page. Yeah. But when you see the actual action and the whole head cut off and everything, beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I mean, credit goes to our director, Amanda Rowe. We weren't able to storyboard a lot, but she storyboarded the heck out of that scene, because we knew it had to work. And even then, I mean, we had just give you a little context. The show was a 6-day shoot, so which for an hour long is nothing. That's like what it takes to shoot a sitcom, right?
Yeah.
We had like no time, so a lot of a lot of like stunt work and a lot of that stuff. It takes so long to do, and we basically had a day to shoot that scene. That's it. And that scene would have taken a normal TV show. They would have taken 3 or 4 days to shoot that scene at least.
So are you saying you had 6 days for the whole season?
For the whole episode. So
okay.
No, if the whole season, yeah.
I was like, man, this is really guerrilla TV making, huh?
That would have been incredible. Yeah, no, I mean, it felt like we only had 6 days sometimes. No, 6 days per episode. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's pretty low. So,
yeah,
it means that a lot of the stunt work, a lot of the action scenes, but that one we knew we had to get right, and so it was storyboarded. You know, it took forever to find this barn. Like, we could not find a lot of barns in New Brunswick are new, or they have like those, like 2 levels. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's like a low ceiling and we were like, no, we need something that feels old and it feels creepy and it's big. So, and we found this, and it had like that platform that Arlene's like on up in the top. It was like amazing. So. Yeah, it was so cool, and honestly, just being there, having been a fan of the comic, just being there and watching it play out in person, it was so surreal, dude. I can't even tell you.
So, gotta ask, did you get goosebumps?
Oh, so many times. Like, I was doing this. I was like, what? Where am I? What is happening?
Dude.
Yeah, it was crazy. Because there, honestly, like, not just because I'm a fan of the comic, but just because it took so long to get there. You know, like there were so many times when, you know, we would work so hard to get this thing moving, and then, you know, something would happen, and you're like, is this gonna happen? Do I have the ability to make this happen? Like, I won't stop, but this is demoralizing. And so, you know, that happened a lot. I mean, it took me in 2016. It was 8 years, I think, to get there. So. Yeah, it was it was definitely surreal in many.
So, have y'all gotten any feedback yet? How's Sci-Fi happy with it, or how's it doing for them? Or?
I mean, Sci-Fi, they love the show. I mean, they've been, in terms of just like support, and they've been wonderful partners. Everyone there is just so in love with the show. You know, I think I will say that, like, cable. You know, cable is just a weird thing in this day and age, so it's hard to being a cable network show is very difficult in the age of streaming. But, you know, being the Peacock world is where I think most of our success metric is at. So that is to say that anybody watching, you know, like, you know, definitely catch it on Sci-Fi. It helps, but you know, rewatch it on Peacock or watch it on Peacock. That it makes a big difference, because every watch on Peacock is a view, and those views count. You know, with cable, it's like the Nielsen thing, so you have to have a Nielsen box for it to actually count, and it's all, you know, it's all that weird stuff. So, you know, our cable numbers are like okay, but okay for Sci-Fi cable network. It's Peacock where we really want to push, and we're doing good. We're good on Peacock, but I think. You know, it's tough because it's like the way people watch TV now is weird. I know there's, you know, the way I watch TV, like, I'll wait for a season to drop and then I'll watch it, and or, you know, and I know there's a lot of people who are like, you know, I want to see if it gets a second season, or, you know, that kind of thing. So,
it's like, damn it, if you don't watch it, we're not gonna get us.
It's tough. It's tough. And look, kudos to cable network, because they. You know, they're kind of dealing with this transition, and you know, it's hard to like know, okay, what is, you know, what is the metric here that we're like going by? It's just, you know, trends are changing all the time. The way people watch content is changing all the time. So, but yeah, we're doing good. I mean, there's a nice big fan base that is building, but the goal is to sort of build that fan base. And I think, you know, the hope is that after last night's episode, that word of mouth starts to spread quite a bit more, because we kind of we threw caution to the wind there.
Well, plus it looks like y'all are going to have a big presence at San Diego, right?
Yeah,
you're going all out there.
It was a big deal for us, right? Because we were like, well, honestly, like there was almost a hope that we would air like right after Comic-Con so we could do like a big premiere at Comic-Con, and then they kind of came and said, no, we're going to be a summer show, we're going to debut in June, and we're like, okay, cool, that still kind of covers Comic-Con, so we should still have that presence. I mean, for a comic like Revival, and then Melanie just has a huge fan base of Winona Earp fans, and they, you know, when she goes to Comic-Con, you know, it's a big deal. So
That's cool. Well, if it matters to sci-fi, my wife is a sci-fi viewer from the Warehouse 13 and Eureka
oh,
days
nice.
and all that, and she says that she just loves having like a genre show that she can watch on the Sci-Fi Network again.
Awesome.
So,
I've heard that from a lot of people, and that means a lot. Yeah, that's great. I mean, those shows are great. I mean, actually, at one point, the creator of Eureka was going to produce the Revival film.
Oh, cool.
Believe it or not, yeah, this is long before Sci-Fi World came again. So yeah, the world gets small sometimes.
Yeah.
So is there a time frame for when they let you guys know if you're getting a second season?
I don't know for sure. I mean, my guess is, you know, that the whole season will have to sort of air and sort of see just what it does. I mean, I think the big thing is let it, you know, because we're a week behind on Peacock, so you kind of want to let the whole season drop on Peacock, give that a bit of time to see. Okay, because there are a lot of people who they'll wait, they want to binge, so they'll wait for it to be to all get up there, then they'll watch it. So there's so many different disparate groups of people and how they watch things that I think there's a little bit of a wait period on it. So yeah, I'm guessing, you know, hopefully we find out fairly soon after this whole season drops, but we'll see.
All right, cool.
So the casting real quick before we go.
You guys, we're good. Let's keep going.
Okay. The casting, dude. I mean, I was a Jag fan. And I mean, not only that, David James Elliott came out into the heel as well for wrestling.
Yep.
I had to look him up. I didn't realize it was the hunky guy from Jag.
Dude. Okay. Did y'all know? Okay, this is who we want to go after, or how did that casting go?
No, so technically, David was brought to us as an idea from our international distributor.
Oh wow!
We worked really close with, to develop the thing. They were really involved in the creative process, and you know, as an international salesperson, they wanted, you know, they needed some names, so they floated. I think David was a friend of his, and he floated the idea of David, and I loved it because my dad was a huge Jag fan. I remember all he watched for a good long while is all he watched. So just the idea of that, I was like, oh my god, this is crazy to have, you know, Harmon Robb as, you know, as Wayne. But it was so funny because you know, the way we wrote, I remember that, like, in the scripting, you know, we would get these notes that were like, yeah, man, maybe Wayne's yelling too much. And we're like, yeah, but like the version of Wayne in my head, he yells a lot. He does in the comic too, you know, he's kind of like this big brash guy. Like he's not subtle. And it was like when David came in, like, this is David. Like, David's got a loud booming voice. Like when David is on set, you know he's on set. Like he is Wayne. It's so funny. Like he came in and he just immediately was this character. And like you hear him and you're just like, oh no, this is great. Like you can't even keep him from yelling. Like that's his natural voice. And it's literally what we imagined this. And the funniest thing about it is that I remember showing Tim, when I first showed Tim stuff, he's like, dude, the original Wayne was based on his dad, on Tim's dad.
Oh dang.
Like, and he just recently told me he watched the show with his parents, with his family on vacation. He was like, everyone was so weirded out watching this because Wayne he's even more my dad in the show than he was in the comic. It was not our intention necessarily, but it just worked out so perfect. So it was so funny. Yeah, David's amazing. And we got to be really close friends. I love him to death.
And then the other one I was going to ask about was Steve Ogg. I mean, dude, from Walking Dead to, I mean, his character as an evil character, it's just like he's born for that. You know, he gives you that scary feeling when you see him, you know, and Was that character same thing? Was that something that you were looking for, or
Yeah, so I remember when we were doing the feature, we always had to took Blaine. We wanted to do more with Blaine, like, and part of that was so originally, so my buddy Chris Sullivan, who from This Is Us, and
oh dang,
he was a Taserface in
yeah,
Guardians.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he's a good friend. He's a very close friend of mine,
no
and
way,
he was gonna play Blaine originally. When we were going to do here, and it didn't end up working out. We tried, but it didn't work out. But like, we knew because of that, like, he loved this character. I remember handing him the book and going, "Hey, who are you interested in?" And he's like, "This guy," and he pointed out to Blaine, and we're like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." So we started to like build Blaine more than what he was in the comic, because in the comic he's like a tow truck
yeah,
demonologist, right? And you're like, a tow truck operator demonologist. Like, what does that mean? Like, how, like, you just gotta take that to the next level. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
we were like, okay, let's have fun. This is the kind of character you can have fun with. Like, let's swing. And so we started doing that early, and then when I kind of brought that to Aaron, and we're like, oh yeah, even let's take even more. We're like just turning the knob a little more. And so the more we just really played with this character, the more Stephen Ogg is all Aaron. I
oh wow,
give Aaron all the credit on this, because I remember we had all these people that we were looking at, because we could only cast Canadian, and so it kind of limited our pool. And I remember Aaron coming to me and was like, Stephen Ogg is Canadian. He's like, I love Stephen Ogg. I've been trying to work with Stephen Ogg for years. I was like, oh my god, well, we're never gonna get Stephen Ogg. But we would like look at this picture, and I was like, if you created Blaine in a lab, it would be Stephen Ogg. And I remember we posted this picture of him, and just we're like just visualizing it all the time. And so Aaron wrote a letter to Stephen, just this personal letter, just about how he's always wanted to work with him, and he's just such a huge fan of his work, and blah blah blah. He's like, just give us a chance to talk about this.
wow,
And Stephen really, he loved. I mean, it meant a lot to him, and so he got back to Aaron, and we started talking about the project, and he really fell in love with the project. And we don't have a lot of money on this show, but the source, I mean, credit to the source material, it really speaks to people.
yeah,
And this happened a lot on this with the casting. And he was like super interested in the character, and he loved it. And so he worked with us, and he was like, yeah, I want to do this, and he wanted to come play. And yeah, it was amazing. Like, we were blown away. But so all the credit goes to Aaron on that one. He made that reach out, he made that happen. He worked his butt off to make that happen, honestly.
and
Is
that's
TV Blaine an amalgamation of Blaine, Edmund, and then I forgot the Reverend who bust in people in the book, but to me it seemed like maybe, like you said, you've got to make some changes, and to not have all these separate characters, you guys might have just combined some characters together.
We did combine some characters, like Jeannie is Jeannie and Bonnie, I
oh
think,
wow,
basically sort of mixed together. um but I kind of want Edmund Holt to come in. We don't have
Well, that's
Edmund.
what I was going to ask. Is he an amalgamation, or will we see an Edmund?
I mean, look, there's a ton of book.
yeah,
And it's weird when you get to the end of the season, you'll see we kind of take a really, I don't want to say anything, I don't want to spoil anything, but I think people will be really surprised about how we designed this first season.
wow.
And so I think a lot of people are going to go, well, what are you going to do now? And so because of that, but what's great is, like, there's just, and we have some ideas. There's stuff in the show that we reference that we will not technically answer just yet. It's part of bigger mysteries. We have definitely have plans for multiple seasons, but Edmund Holt is one of those that I would love. There's a lot of characters that I would love to get in there somehow. So no, Blaine is not an Edmund Holt. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. I think Blaine is just sort of an evolution of the character. I think he's just sort of like,
Nice,
you go okay, Blaine is a tow truck I mean, we've kind of made him a preacher.
Well,
And that,
TV Blaine definitely seems like more of a leader
yeah,
than
yeah,
comic Blaine.
he is, because we wanted to do something with Blaine that was different than the comic, and where Blaine is going with it, it is not comic Blaine at all. I mean, it's definitely our own thing. That's a storyline that we kind of came organically as we sort of trying to figure out, okay, what is Blaine's role? And there's been multiple versions of this adaptation where Blaine's role changed, but this one was when Aaron and I started developing this, we really wanted to change that up a little bit.
And then this one, no spoilers. This is just casting, just something to talk about because this is huge
Love it.
for wrestling side because we got a WrestleCast as well.
Yeah.
To talk about wrestling.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Dude, I know, I mean, everybody knows CM Punk's a big comic book fan as well. He's written
Yep.
comics.
And from Chicago.
Yeah,
Yep.
and from Chicago.
Yep.
How did you get him involved in this, man?
Oh man, it was actually pretty easy, because he's a huge Revival fan.
Oh,
To be honest, we kind of CM was he kind of came in early. My company helped produce Girl on the Third Floor. I don't know if you're familiar with that. His first kind of big role, that horror film, that Travis Stevens film, from quite a few. It's a great horror film, and it's all Phil. It's like the whole thing is Phil, and it was sort of a really cool, just really getting to see how well he can carry a film. And I remember meeting him on the set of that and finding out how big of a comic fan he was. And so my partner and I were like, listen, super nice guy. We're like, hey, listen, would you be interested in being if we ever get this off the ground, do you want to be in it? And he's like, absolutely, count me in.
wow.
No doubt about it. And so I remember, so he was just sort of loosely attached for years. And then when the production moved to Canada, we were kind of all, we had to cast only Canadian. And I remember writing him and going, hey man, I'm so sorry. We can't, this kind of all this stuff happened. We can't get you to be in this. And he's like, no, let's make this work. Like, what do I, no joke. And so, because usually what happens is like there's sort of SAG rules and all this other stuff. And he didn't care. Like, he was like, and it just so happened, it was amazing that his management company and the management company of the producer of Blue Ice Pictures that we were working with were the same. So they're both Paradigm. And so they knew each other. Their managers knew each other so really well. So they were able to like make this thing happen. And Phil was just like, he's like, make it happen. We're going to make it happen. And literally the amount of stuff that happened that basically we were told multiple times, this isn't going to happen. Like, it's just not going to happen. The schedule's not working out. Phil has to do this and he has to do that. He didn't care. He moved heaven and earth to get on set. And we had to do it quick. He was on for 2 days. He shot everything in 2 days, and it was a heavy 2 days, and it was like cold AF. It was like there was blizzards out. He missed his flight on the way back. He literally almost didn't make it to what is the big one in Vancouver? Help me out. What's the event?
I don't remember which one was there this year.
It was the wrestling one, right?
The VOD. It's like the name is completely.
It wasn't SummerSlam. It wasn't WrestleMania.
Yeah. Anyway, the big one. He was supposed to get on a plane and get there in time. It would like literally filmed and go, and he missed his flight. It got canceled, and it was just a hellish time getting him. And he still was like the nicest dude about it. Just super excited to do this. Yeah, I can't say enough amazing things about Phil. He's such a great guy.
When you have those comic fans who are fans and get the opportunity to work with stuff that they love, they're willing to do what you said, to do whatever they can to make it work. Like you, if it wasn't for you and Tim, pushing this and Mike and everyone behind the scenes, we would have never gotten this to TV. And it's a perfect time because Walking Dead is where it's at. And I feel this is a perfect opportunity where it's coming in and it's giving us new IP for people who didn't read the comics
Mhm.
and who love horror mystery. You
Mhm.
know, it's a perfect opportunity right now, and it's
Oh
great.
man.
Especially the way you guys are doing it. I can't wait to see, up this, the last episode. I'm just like literally the last episode. My wife was like, "What?" And she's never read the comics. She's not a comic person, so to get her hooked onto a show, it takes a little bit to get her to watch a show.
So my
Yeah.
wife hadn't read it, but then we watched episode 1, and she was like, "Okay, I have to read it."
Ah,
So,
amazing.
so yeah,
That's
she
music players. I mean,
yeah, she read all 47 issues before we could
what?
watch the next episode. Yeah.
Oh
Oh my
wow!
God, that's like my oh man, that reminds me, my wife. Yeah, so when Constantine was on TV, I remember,
Mhm.
I was a huge fan. Like Swamp Thing is one of my all-time favorite.
Oh
Yeah.
dude,
Huge Swamp Thing fan, huge. And when Constantine came in, my wife just loved that show, and she literally read all 300 issues of Hellblazer within like
Wow.
a month. It was crazy. She got obsessed, and she does not read comics. She does not
That's
care. She doesn't whatsoever. But yeah, so that, like, hearing that, I mean, that's the best thing I can possibly hear, because it is. Look, as a comic lover, I think that medium is so special. I think that the community of comic lovers are so special, and it's like, as both a film and TV creator and just a comic lover. I mean, the ultimate thing for me is to bring those two things together. And honestly, like, you make something like this, and I was nervous, man. I was like, we definitely, we take some liberties. We do some things that are different. And I was like, I don't, I hope the fans love it. Like, I hope they see what we're doing. I hope they see how we're sort of like playing with the material, but still are reverent of the material. Like, for me, it's like, my job in a lot of cases was to say, this feels like revival or this does not feel like revival.
oh wow.
Yeah.
And man, I wish there's something in episode 6 I wish I could talk about, but we'll leave it for another time.
Well, episode 6 was okay. That's another thing. I have to get you back on to talk about once we could talk spoilers and stuff.
Let's do it. Yeah, anytime.
I'll watch it later tonight, and then I'll just send y'all messages.
I tell you what, I'll come back. I'll come back at the end of the season. We'll go through the season.
Oh, dude,
right.
that'd be freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Well, getting back to that, what I was gonna ask about was, with getting CM Punk on and getting the casting that you've gotten, do you have people that you already have in mind for characters that are going to be introduced later that you can't talk about now? No spoilers, but you already have people that you had an idea for and that you got locked. That's all you can say.
Oh yeah, we've got some great people that we were going to cast in season 1, and then schedules and things like that didn't work out. Oh yeah, we got some cool people waiting in the wings. Let's say it that way. And then some characters too. Like, we've got. I mean, there's a whole thing. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, when we get back, we'll talk when the season's over, because there's some fun stuff. There's some fun stuff in the show that I'm excited to just geek out about, especially with comic fans, with people who know the book and stuff.
Cool.
So.
Oh, dude. And then, okay, I'm going to bring it up. Of course, you guys are going to be at San Diego.
Yep.
And of course, they're going to have the hood. So what can people expect that you guys are going to do in San Diego? What is it? Can you tell us anything?
Yeah. I mean, so we are going to, we're going to do a panel. The panel is actually sponsored by Image.
Oh,
we're going through Image Comics. So it's
wow.
Tim and Mike will be there. So it'll be me and Aaron, Tim and Mike, Melanie, Andy, Romy, and David, all there. So we're gonna talk about comics to TV. Yeah, we're gonna talk about, like, what is it? How do you bring the comic to life? So it's comic centric. We're gonna show an exclusive clip, the never before seen clip of an upcoming episode. So we're excited about that. It's like one of my kind of my baby episode of the season. I'm so excited about it. and then yeah, we might have a little giveaway. We'll see what we do. We're things are hitting up against deadlines, but I'm hopeful.
I would
So
love to see a whole new round of like revival cosplayers because I remember back then you saw so many M cosplayers and even Dana cosplayers. If the show just brings back like a whole new round of people cosplaying, that'd be awesome.
oh man, I've got if you've ever read the deluxe hardcovers, the
Hmm.
hardcovers that they did,
Hmm.
I think every version of that has a ton of just cosplay pictures in it.
Yeah.
I remember we put those in our pitch book when we were trying to pitch this to studios and
Oh,
stuff. We would always have the cosplayers, and it's amazing what they would do. We actually, the way one of our defining things with designing the hoodie, the way we designed it was to be like, okay, how can we make this thing, it's similar but its own thing, but also sort of in a way that like, encourages cosplaying because it's not easy. I will tell you, I've been trying to get a recreation made for Comic Con just to let you know, and it's been a butt. I,
Really?
I don't have any of the screen used because they have to keep them all just in case.
oh,
And man, I didn't realize how tough it was to. I was like texting my costume designer. I was like, "How did you make this?" Nobody, literally, I've had two printers tell me they refuse to do it. That it's too hard to make.
What's the issue they're running into? Because that's my like day job is like I do custom apparel and
Oh,
caps
really?
and all.
Well, I should have called
Yes.
you, man. I should have
So I
called
want to I want to know what they're
desperately
having a
need one.
problem with.
No, it's locations because you've got so it's like mostly they're worried about there's the hood. So they're
Uh-huh.
worried about getting that on there, and then you've got the teeth around the lip of the hood. You've got the arms where it comes all the way down on both
Yeah.
sides, and then you have the angels on the back. And literally, I've had two. I had a dude that just does it, and then I had a company that does it local, and they were like, they literally both were like, yeah, this is too. I don't know. I don't think I can do it. It's too difficult. I was like,
Cowards.
I,
Nasser, jump
I
on
yeah.
it.
know. I know, man. I would go through a whole case of sweatshirts trying to get that right.
Yeah, I think that's what they're worried about is too the pressure. So, yeah, but
Dude.
I would love to, and we're exploring it. I would love to find a way to get it to sell it. You know what I mean? I'd love the way for
Oh,
Yeah.
dude,
to be
people
able
will
to.
buy that up, man.
That's what I think so. So I want one.
All right. I'll get to work on it. We'll see
All
what we
right.
can do.
Yeah,
So,
give me a
since
call.
you're a comic book fan, and have you ever heard of there's a writer out there. I just interviewed him. He's writing. Rodney Barnes is currently writing the Han Solo Lando
Oh,
story arc.
okay, nice.
And
I
he's
love the
written.
Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, he's written Philadelphia as well,
Okay.
and he's a huge Swamp Thing fan. He talked about that. He's like, I would love to write for Swamp Thing.
Oh man.
And if you read his horror stuff, he did the Batman Wolf issue, the
Okay.
miniseries. It was an awesome read. If you haven't read it, go pick it up.
I haven't. Oh, that sounds awesome. The
Yeah,
Batman Wolf. one?
yeah, it's a 5 issue series,
Okay.
and it's basically like it goes back to where Batman's a detective and they're
Oh,
trying
I
to
mean,
find
hold on.
yeah. So his writing is phenomenal. He tells horror stories. He's got a podcast as well about horror stories.
Awesome.
But yeah, no, I think you two need to team up and give us a Swamp Thing
Dude,
movie. You know what I mean?
my dream, my absolute dream. I swear to God. I remember I've met Guillermo del Toro twice, and
What?
the second time I was actually interviewing him, and it was after they had announced that his Justice League Dark that he wasn't doing anymore, and I was like, dude, you got to tell me what your Justice League Dark.
What was it going to be?
But man, we started geeking out about Alan Moore, Swamp Thing, and just talk. Oh, and I think it's because I was wearing a Swamp Thing shirt at the time.
Oh.
So he saw it, and we were just started. Oh man, we went off, and that was like one of the highlights of my life is geeking out about Guillermo del Toro.
Well, even the HBO Max show, I liked that one season, and then they canceled it.
I did too. I thought it was great.
We were about to get Blue
Yeah.
Devil. Come on.
I know. That whole Yeah, that whole DC. What was that? It was like the DC app, right? Like they were doing their own streaming thing.
Yeah, and then they put it on HBO Max for a while. They put
Yeah,
Titans and they put Swamp Thing and Doom Patrol.
man. Yeah,
Are
yeah.
you currently reading anything, Luke?
I am. I'm reading. Funny enough, I mean, a huge Local Man fan.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
so yeah, I'm reading Local Man.
Oh, nice.
I think what else? It's been a minute. Uh, yeah, just I mean, the show has kind of sucked my time, so I haven't really dug into anything considerable in probably a good year and a half since I've been watching this. I need to get back into it. I'm just like so behind.
This is the one you
Oh,
need.
Batman Full
Uh,
Moon.
Yeah,
Batman
that's the
Full
one you
Moon.
want to read.
Nice. What's the app you're reading on?
This was just a photo. I pulled it up. I have the
Oh,
hard copy. I read the hard copy. It's already a graphic novel, so graphic novel's available.
yeah. I'll tell you what I'm reading more, or I'm starting to read more now because I got my reading of choice is you'll dig this, is this guy right here. I've got a Vision Pro, and
Oh,
it is I read comics on there and they're like the size of my wall and it's amazing.
Oh, wow. I didn't know you could read on there.
Yeah, there's a cool virtual reality app where you can read and it's just like it's
Are
so
you
cool.
serious?
Yeah, it's because I mean the resolution of that thing, that was my gift basically for the show. It was my personal thing. So I took, it was because when I was gonna we were in Canada for 6 months and I needed, a mobile workstation and stuff like that. So I got that right before and it helped. I mean, I was able to do a ton of stuff while I was there. Um, yeah, like cool stuff like where I could like walk through our sets, like our set designers would send me like the CAD 3D
No
CAD for
way.
our sets, and I would be able to like put the headset on and walk through them and see them in virtual reality. It was so cool.
Wow.
But yeah, that thing I've started reading again, literally just like last week, on that thing, and it's so cool. It's so cool.
That's cool. I'm gonna have to check that out.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say, Nasser, because you're a digital reader, so
Yeah, I'm
I was
on
gonna
my
say,
iPad Pro, and that's pretty cool. But if I can get
I
it,
do read
like,
everything else on my iPad Pro. Yeah, I do.
yeah,
I do love this. I do love this. I collect, but I do not touch the books. I get them from the store. They go in a bag and they go in my back room, and then I
yeah,
read it digital. Yeah.
yeah.
dang, that's freaking awesome. Okay, so um, do you own any art pieces, like original art from any of your favorite comics?
I let me think. I do. I actually, you know what? I have a massive collection of mostly just signatures.
Oh wow.
I've actually got a ton of Tim's original art. I've got some of Mike's original
Oh,
art. Of course. Who else? Oh, you know what? I've got an original Neil Adams
oh
that
Nice.
wow.
I adore. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. I don't have a lot. I've got. I don't think I ever got any commissions. What I used to do is I used to just get signatures. I used to just go to cons and get a lot of signatures, not a lot of commissions or anything like that.
Yeah.
But so I don't have a ton. I don't have as much as I would like. I wish I had more original art.
If I win the lotto, this is just a
Yeah.
reprint. They only made so many. Killing Joke over there, that one over there, that
Oh yeah.
dude,
Is
that
that a
is my
friend?
pride and joy. They only made like 200 and something of them, but Alex Ross signed it in pencil.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, my buddy George gave me that for my birthday. This was the
Oh, dude,
best
that's
birthday
amazing.
gift I ever got. And
Yeah.
I'm a Harley fan, if you can tell.
Uh huh. Yep.
But yeah,
Love
if
Harley.
original art is Alex Ross, if I could win the lotto, I would buy an original art piece of
Chicago
Alex
guy.
Ross.
Chicago native. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, dude, he's my white buffalo. If I could get him on the podcast, that's like he's on my bucket list. Him, Dan Slott, um,
Oh yeah. Dan's amazing. Yeah.
dude, yeah, Dan Slott is
Love
awesome. He's a Doctor Who
Dan's.
fan.
I'm a
He's
huge Doctor Who fan, and his Silver Surfer is like the
oh,
thing that got me into that character. Yeah, I love his Silver Surfer.
you're a Doctor Who fan too?
Oh yeah, huge Doctor Who fan.
Oh man, dude,
Yeah.
we gotta talk. I just interviewed um, one of the writers who wrote for the Doctor Who comics. My mind's going a blank right now, but he's from the UK, and we talked about how he got into comics, and he got into it because of Doctor Who.
Oh
And
wow!
yeah, that was an awesome
I
interview.
will tell you, my daughter's middle name is Amelia Dash Rose, and it is
No
exactly
freaking way,
what
dude.
you would know. Yes. I literally named my daughter after a Doctor Who character. Two
Okay.
Doctor Who.
Off the subject. Last episode, Rose coming back. What was
I've not watched
Oh shoot!
the latest season, but I know about it. I know.
That's
Okay,
what
I'll say it was all over the internet. I was like, my bad.
I know. My wife told me. I know. I'm looking forward to seeing it because my mind was blown just by hearing it. But I'm super behind. Yeah.
Oh man, I can imagine because you've been busy. But
I've been busy. Yeah.
You have an excuse. You're perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions, Asher, before we go?
The last, well, one's a comment, one's a question. So comment. I'm sorry it took so long for y'all to finally get Revival done, but I'm glad that it came to TV. I really like the serialized storytelling for comic series. So I'm glad about that. And two, now that Revival's been checked off your lists, what's the next? Any other comics series that you'd love to adapt? Anything you can talk about, I guess.
I got two that I'm working on. I can't say what it is yet, but
Okay.
yeah, I've got some. One's a movie, one's a TV show, I think, and yeah, we're just getting those processes started, but I'm pretty excited. Yeah, a couple of cool projects. So yeah.
Well, I hope you become the next Greg Berlanti, and
I'll take it.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
everything that he's done from Smallville to Arrow to it started off with just a one, and then boom, just I hope.
Well, if you haven't already, talked to CM Punk. His wife recently did that Day of the Dead Girl, and I would love to see that on screen.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, it was a 5-issue miniseries from Magma, I believe.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, it was AJ Mendez and oh my god, I'm gonna forget her name. Like AJ's best friend, Amy something. They were the writers on it, and it's a really cool like Mexican Day of the Dead crossed with like a murder mystery and like some supernatural elements.
Huh. Okay.
And so go talk to Phil about that one.
Yeah, and the other writer is the one from Dexter, right? And
I think so. Amy, I forget her name, but yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I gotta check that out. What's it called?
Day of the Dead Girl.
Day of the Dead Girl. Cool. All right.
But yeah, no. Again, Countdown to the Geeks. Stay tuned. We got some more cool guests that we got down the pipeline that I can't tell you right now, but you're definitely going to want to stick around and watch because it's going to be an awesome interview. I've got 2 more lined up that are going to be fun, and I've got some other ones lined up as well. Luke, thanks again for coming on. I look forward to chatting again about once the last episode drops, and also San Diego. I want to find out how it goes, man, because you're going to be your San Diego panel that you're going to get to talk and see fans' reactions. I want to hear all about that because that as a geek, my 15 seconds of fame, like I told you earlier, like I told my wife, when I die, just put that comic book up, and that's what you're going to put in my casket next to me because I can die happy because of that. But yeah, I want to hear your goosebump stories about walking on the stage and getting to meet fans and all that cool stuff, man.
Oh dude, 100%. I can't wait. Absolutely, let's do it again. Yeah, talking to you guys has been a blast. I loved it. This is so much fun. The time just flew by. So
yeah, big time.
Anytime.
All right, guys, peace out, guys.